there, and welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith, and in this video, we're going to learn the 1 to 6 player game Letterpress, designed by Robin David and published by Osprey Games, who helped sponsor this video. To be the best wordsmith, you'll have to gather letters and build clever words as you work to collect enough cards for the big finale. So, join me at the table, and let's learn how to play. To set up, shuffle the letter, vowel, and challenge cards into 3 face-down decks in the center of the play area. Then deal each person a reference card. This is double-sided and details the steps in a round of play. And that's the setup. In Letterpress, players will be choosing cards to build a word, which may then allow them to complete challenges and add letters to their personal collection. In the final round, players will use the letters they collected over the previous rounds to create one final word. And while all the prior rounds are important, it's your final word created in that last round which will determine if you're the winner. The game is played over 5 rounds, broken into 4 steps each, starting with the deal step. Here you shuffle the letter deck if you haven't already, and then deal 2 face up along with 1 vowel from the vowel deck. And just so you know, there are also vowels in the letter deck as well. Next, deal 3 challenge cards face up, which are known as the open challenges. And then finally, deal 5 letter cards to each of the players. Now it's time for the draft step, where everyone will look at the cards they were dealt and then pick one that they want to keep, putting it face down in front of themselves. And once everyone is ready, they pass the remaining 4 cards to the player on their left, meaning that everyone will get 4 cards passed to them on their right. And then from those, everyone now picks another card that they want to keep and then passes the remaining 3. And you'll continue like this, passing and taking just 1 card until eventually you're passed a single card, which you then add to the others you already selected. Now at any point in this process, you can look at the cards you already selected to remind you which ones you had picked, but just be sure not to mix them in with the other letters that are still being passed around. And when this step is done, each player will now have 5 cards in front of themselves, which I don't because I don't have enough hands to pretend that I'm 5 people. So just trust me, when you're all done, everyone will have 5 cards, something like this. And these represent the letters that you chose, which you'll now take into your hand. And now you move to the right step. Here, you'll look at the cards in your hand, along with the letters face up on the table, and you'll try to secretly think of a good word that uses them, following a few simple rules. First of all, every player has access to all of the letters in the shared area face up on the table. That means if I end up using the letter B in my word, that doesn't stop anyone else from also using it. That said, you cannot use the same letter more than once in the word you come up with. For example, let's just say this is my hand, and I'm trying to spell the word bribe, B-R-I-B-E. I couldn't use this letter B card twice. I could only spell bribe if I had access to 2 different B cards, like this. But now I have a hand of 6 cards, which is not allowed, so just get rid of that. Now the exception is if your word has 2 matching letters right next to each other. For example, if I wanted to spell ripped, R-I-P-P-E-D, I could use this P as both of the required P's, again, only because they would be right next to each other in the spelling of the word. Another quick rule is that if you get access to the Q-U card, this can be used as either Q-U or just Q. That said, again, you can only have 5 cards in your hand, so just pretend I don't have that. Lastly, some words are not allowed. For example, you cannot use proper nouns, abbreviations, or slang words, and whatever you come up with must be a single word that doesn't include hyphens. Now, once you have a word that you want to use, just wait until everyone is ready, and then each player will announce their word out loud, placing any cards they needed to use from their hand face up onto the table. Any cards the player was holding that they didn't use in their word, they then put on the bottom of the letter deck. And then it's time for the scoring step. Here, each player adds together all of the points showing in the top right-hand corner of all of the letters in their word, including any shared letters that they might have used. Just note you count each card only once, even if it counted as a double letter. For example, I spelled ripped, which gives me 3 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 3 for a total of 12. Now each player is ranked from highest to lowest based on the total score for their word. For example, a player whose word has a total value of 12 would rank higher than someone whose word had a value of 8. If there's a tie between 2 or more players, the player with the single highest valued letter in their word ranks higher, even if that letter comes from one of the shared ones. Now, if there's still a tie, then the tied player with the longest word ranks higher. In the unlikely event that there's still a tie, each tied player draws the top card from the letter deck, and then the person who gets a letter closest to the start of the alphabet ranks higher. Keep drawing if this results in further ties as necessary, and then all cards drawn this way are returned to the bottom of the letter deck. With the players ranked, starting with the person highest, and then going in descending order, each player picks any one-letter card to take from those that are face up on the table. And this includes both the shared letters, but also any of the other ones face up in front of any of the players, including yourself. But maybe in this case, I'll take the letter P. When you collect a letter, it is then put face down under your reference card. And this area under here is known as your collection, which you're reminded of here. You can always look at your own collection at any time during the game, but you may never look at another player's. With that understood, I'll now mention that the highest ranked player actually takes 2 cards when it's their turn to collect. And if you have 3 or 4 players, the second highest ranked player also takes 2. And if you have 5 or 6 players, the second and third highest ranked players also take 2 letters. Otherwise, all other players get only 1. When it's your turn to claim a letter or letters, you may additionally also take any one challenge from the face-up display if you meet its listed condition here. You then gain the reward listed at its bottom, and some will tell you to add the card to your collection. If not, like in the case of this one, then after the reward is resolved, you place it on the bottom of the challenge deck. Each player can only claim one challenge, even if their word satisfies several. Either way, after everyone has claimed their letters and challenges, any unclaimed letters and challenges on the table are put back under their related decks, and then a new round begins. Now, it's important to realize that the points you score in a round are not carried forward. They're only used within the round you scored them, and then everyone goes back to 0 points. And rounds will continue like this until you get to the start of round 5, where each step is played out a little differently. In the deal step, you create shared letters as before, but no challenges are revealed and no cards are dealt to the players. In the draft step, you don't perform a draft at all. Instead, you take all of the cards from your collection to form your hand. And some of these may be challenge cards, which will now count as the letter showing here in their top left-hand corner. Using the cards in your hand and the shared ones on the table, you now try to come up with the highest scoring word possible. Some challenge cards list 2 or more letters, and if used in your final word, you must use all of its letters in the order that it shows. Once everyone has decided on their final word, the words and cards used to make them are revealed, and any unused letters a player still has in their hand are placed back into their collection under their reference. Each player then totals the score of their final word, and the player with the highest score wins. Now, if there's a tie, the tied player with the most points on the letters remaining in their collection wins. And if there's still a tie, the tied players share the victory. The game also has rules for solo play, where you'll be trying to beat a rotary printer. You'll find this explained here in the rulebook, and I'll leave that for you to discover on your own. That said, if you have any questions about anything you saw here, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I get a chance. You'll also find forums for discussion, pictures, other videos, and lots more over on the games page at Board Game Geek, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a like, subscribing, and clicking that little bell icon so you get notification anytime we post a new video. But until next time, thanks for watching.